Alright guys, welcome back to our channel. Caitlin here.
And Kayla.
And we're actually changing it up a little bit. We're going to be talking about something really important to us, and that is the first Phorm Athlete Search.
So the first Phorm Athlete Search, if you guys don't really know,
is a search put on by First Phorm, basically looking for, and it's basically looking for not just athletes or people who are in higher status quality, but really just everyday people like you and me who are really out there trying to make positive change in the world and in other people's lives.
So we also wanted to talk a little bit about what is First Phorm.
And if you guys have never heard about this company, they're a very all-encompassing company. The biggest thing a lot of people most likely know them for are their outstanding supplements. So their supplements, they literally are made with 100% the highest ingredients. I've always had a very hard time ingesting anything that is whey protein. I've literally tried 11 other brands, not counting First Phorm. So First Phorm is going to be 12. I've tried 11 other brands besides them, and I've dealt with everything from stomach aches, bloating, nausea, all that kind of stuff that comes with my body just not being able to process it. And some of that really comes down to ingredients and the quality of ingredients in it. So I guess the first time I ever tried their protein, it was a huge moment for me because I finally found something that I wasn't laying in bed with huge stomach cramps for half an hour after ingesting. And that really kind of that started my journey, really.
Yeah, it got us both away from whey for a while, honestly. I went to plant-based protein, which if you don't know, it doesn't give you as much protein in plant-based as it would through whey. Yeah, per serving. So that's the biggest goal for me, was it was so huge to find protein that had whey because it was more protein per serving, and that I could ingest because I have such a sensitive stomach. This company is also really, if you look at the foundation of what this company is built off, I just think it was built off so much hard work, so much mental
toughness,
strength,
fortitude.
that was put into it. People that just don't quit.
The people who found this, they literally were everyday people like you and me. They started from literally nothing, from the bottom. They had a purpose, they had a passion, and every day it was something that they worked towards. So I guess that resonates with us so much because we grew up on a farm, we've had the hard work side instilled in us, and we know what it takes to struggle every single day and not see anything pay off for a really long time. And especially having 3 other siblings, money obviously was really tight for us. It was always something that we didn't always get to do things that our friends were doing, or we couldn't always go out all the time, or it actually was such a treat to go to a restaurant every 3 months.
I think that's the biggest thing. I think it's such a treat for us to be able to go on vacations and go to restaurants, because I know that our parents always put in the most work to be able to let us, because we're all 3 sport athletes, so they put in so much work to drive us to all of our sporting events, put us in all these events, and we did get to go with our friends a fair amount, but also I think compared to our friends, we kind of had the flip side of responsibilities and chores and things that had to get done before we got to go places or do things.
So I guess when it comes to thinking about the people who founded this company, that's something that really hits home for us. And being able to finally start being in the position where we are, actually engaging with the company and engaging with the people, you really do. Everybody talks about the sense of family. I can't honestly say it enough.
It's gonna be everybody, I'm sure.
Yeah, I can't say it enough, honestly, though. The sense of family you actually get, and the sense of community and support, you actually have somebody in your corner. You have someone rooting for you constantly, who's checking in on you, and that is just amazing.
Because realistically, besides your friends, who will message you in the morning how was your sleep? You got a fucking message how did you sleep?
Nobody, especially across the internet nowadays, nobody really cares that much.
People just say hi, how's your day, but they don't really expect a response.
Yeah, they're not actually trying to go out and really see how are you. So I guess the value and the perspective that they bring, and just a sense of having somebody there and having somebody have your back, has really pushed us to decide that we really wanted to do this first Phorm Athlete Search.
It's just unlike any other company. No other company does that. No other company wants to make you feel included, wants to make... No. They try,
it's 100% what sets them apart from all the other companies out there. And what makes them an area that, this is the reason why they have how many people who want to work for them, who want to be a part of them.
It's the reason that so many people don't look at them as a company, but rather a community.
Yep, 100%. I actually in 2019, I did the 2019 Athlete Search, and early on, I actually kind of took myself out of the search, and for the biggest reason that I heard this quote a long time ago, it was actually from Ben Askren, and that he talks about you have to lead yourself first before you can lead others.
Yep.
And I really took that to heart because back in 2019, I really felt like I wasn't actually being true to my own purpose. I wasn't leading myself. I was preaching things, but I wasn't doing half of them every day, and it wasn't aligning with myself and who I was.
And that's the hardest thing too, is when you think that you deserve things, or when you think that you're entitled to things, and you kind of get away from the mentality maybe you had when you grew up, where you knew that hard work was required. You had to put in the work to be able to get things or do things or to go places. And I think especially moving into like high school sports a lot, I just didn't put in the work, and for some reason I lost like the toughness, the drive to like want to be better, want to do better for myself. And I just more so I wanted to pity myself because I wasn't in the places I really wanted to be.
I think that's one of the biggest struggles that we dealt with was we love sports. Like growing up with 3 other siblings, our brothers, like we're all rough and tough. We're freaking running around in the fucking shit in the manure, pen, and we're having a good time, and like we're so competitive growing up that we always played sports. And when it got to our own competitive level, when we were in high school and when we were doing these sports, it's easy to kind of like take that side, like Kayla said, that narrative of why me? Why am I not playing? Like, oh, they're just, they're just being favored or this or this. Like you can really just try and, you can act like you don't have any way to change it. But I guess the hardest lesson we ever learned was that we all have the power to change our narrative, and we all have the power to change where we are in life.
Exactly, because when we were in high school too, I really wanted to play college sports. I really, really wanted to, because I identify with being an athlete so much. I love being active. Like that's our biggest thing, is we see ourselves as that. So when I didn't get the chance to play college sports, I think that was the biggest hit to like my aspirations that I kind of had for myself.
Because it's kind of like our identity, like you said, like when you identify as being an athlete and then all of a sudden being an athlete gets taken away, you're like, what am I? What am I doing? Like you just don't feel like you have a purpose, or like you don't feel like you know who you are anymore when you're not doing the things that you love to do.
And so then I feel like you kind of get a little lost, and you don't look at it as I could have changed it or I could have done that. You look at it as like, well, like now what, or like where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? Like I'm not good enough, whatever. And then you start to judge yourself a little bit harsher, I think.
And it really comes down to, like, honestly, for us in college, like, we really had to take a look at ourselves in the mirror and just kind of be like, fuck this bullshit. I'm done with it. Like, I don't know. Like, I really needed to own up to my own things. I needed to cross off my own demons off the list, and I needed to just show up for myself. I needed to start being a leader for myself so that I could actually get back on track to what my purpose was or what I wanted to do. And that's kind of where we started falling in love with our passion right now. Like, in college, we started playing intramurals. We did co-ed and we did women's. And that's when we really started falling in love with the gym, with weight training. We would go to the gym every day. We would go twice a day.
We would go like 6 a.m. and then 10 p.m.
Yeah, 10 p.m. We just go like, sometimes to shoot hoops or to like lift a little bit more, whatever it was. But we ended up finding a sense of community in our gym at our college. And it was like the only place we were happy with, because we would have a hard time being at college because we just didn't feel like we belonged. We didn't feel like we knew what we were doing.
We didn't really also feel like we identified, I think, with the other people at college. Like, people loved going out drinking. We'd go out and we'd come back at like 9 p.m. Like, let's go home.
Like, I'm tired.
Like, it's hard to identify with other people, and I think that's because our mindset was slowly starting to shift back to the one that we kind of had on the farm, where you don't get places without putting in the work. You don't get what you want without actually taking accountability that you're not, doing the actions you need to do. And that's kind of when we started, I think, taking accountability for the fact that, if we want anything in life, or we want to be happy in life, or we want to, enjoy a sense of being an athlete again, like, then we need to take the initiative to do these things.
And to go somewhere with it. And this is really kind of our hard work side, like the part that was already instilled in us kind of started waking up again, because we were getting up at 5:30, going to the gym in the morning, getting our workouts in, and it was a hard thing to overcome our own barriers, because we were having these big jacked football linemen in there doing their morning workouts, and we're over there in the squat rack like, all right, I got some 25-pound plates on here, like it was hard to get out of our own head and just be like, what, no, I'm in here for a purpose, and I'm gonna come here to get done what I want to get done. And that's really what started empowering us and really changing our perspective on things. And I think that's kind of the first time where me following the pack and me just like letting other people decide my fate and my future kind of stopped.
It was that, and it was really hard, I think, to be going with all the other college kids, I think, to like parties and all that stuff, and just slowly starting to split off, because as you're splitting off from like everybody else, you start to feel like you're missing out on everything. Like, if you don't go out, am I missing out? Like, am I having a fun time? Like, whatever, if I get up early and I do like my fitness thing, whatever, my workout, and then I go later again, and all these other people are gonna go out to go eat or whatever, and I'm not going to go because I'm going to go back to the gym again or go shoot hoops again. Like, am I missing out again? You start to just really question, like, if you're doing the right thing, and also if you're going to start losing friends, kind of.
And it took us a really long time to kind of get over that, to get over the fear. It's literally the fear that people are not going to accept you, people are not going to want to be your friend, fear that people
will judge you
or think you're dumb. And I guess, like, it just took us a really long time to realize, like, if this is something that's really important to me, somebody will be there to support me still. And that's really where it comes full circle with First Phorm, is because those people are there. Those people who want to support you and are rooting for you and have been in your corner on your mat this whole time, they're right there the whole time, and they're not going anywhere.
And the other thing, too, is, like, when you're going through this whole entire journey and you're sitting there thinking to yourself, I'm not good enough, or I can't do these things, whatever, like, eventually you finally understand that you can do these things. You are good enough, and you don't need the validation from anybody else to go out and to look stupid, doing whatever it is. Like, we create a whole fitness Instagram, and I think that was really out of the norm for us.
That was us, like, getting through one of the biggest barriers there was, just to put out, hey, this is my passion, this is my purpose, and this is what I love to do every day. And letting other people know, because it's really hard, like you said, like, having what are people's thoughts about it, is really just realizing that I'm going to do what I love to do, no matter what, and I'm just going to start inspiring. And this is kind of when I think we started switching roles from being that person who could now actually lead from the front, from the person who can show and add value to other people's lives. We end up getting our personal training degree in college, even though we were going through for business. It's not what we wanted to do. We ended up getting our personal training degree. We went and taught in one of the largest clubs in the U.S. And from there, we really just, our self-confidence and our passion and our purpose just started growing.
It was that, because it was so hard for us to not feel like we could lead ourselves, because there was definitely that time where I couldn't lead myself. I was lost. I didn't know what to do. I felt like I wasn't good enough at all these things, and eventually I just started showing up for myself, putting myself first, not snoozing my alarm clock in the morning when I wanted to go to the gym, creating my healthy lifestyle for myself, because that's what changed my whole mindset, because I started being happier. I used to feel kind of depressed and upset when I looked in the mirror or after like a night out, and I would just kind of be like down,
Yeah.
And then when you finally start leading yourself and you take that initiative, you change everything about your life. And the only thing you want to do after you change your own life is to fucking change everybody else's life. You want people to understand, like, oh my God, listen to me. Look what I did.
Not even listen to me, but like, see, like, look at how happy I am. Look at like my life. Like, I am just living. I never actually believe those people who are like, do these like simple tasks of waking up early, reading a book, like going for a walk, drinking water, exercising, do those things and it'll change your life. You don't believe it until you do it, and then you're like, oh my gosh, like, I wish other people knew this. I wish I could really help somebody.
Exactly. You don't want to change anybody else's life until you change your own, because you don't have the drive that you have after you start leaving yourself.
You don't realize the impact it's had on your own life. And
no, and then when you do, you're like, I want to just make you as happy as me. I want you to be as productive as me, like have goals like me.
I want you to know that any aspiration you have, that you can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And getting to the gym, when we started training at the gym and we started doing classes and clients, and we were able to finally get a little bit of a taste of like what it is to actually change someone's life. Having clients come in and say, hey, like, I lost this many pounds, or hey, the doctor says I'm in the best shape I've been in the past like 2 years. Like, those are things that started compounding, and I've just started getting this feeling of gratitude every time somebody told me something amazing or some way that I was able to help them in some way. And it got to the point where that's when we ended up creating our own way of like adding value to other people's lives, because getting that feeling of changing somebody's lives is like no other.
They're just mailing through the community too, because honestly, when you start giving out so much love to other people, like, they give you so much love back, and
they
people
give
are so
you
much
twice
happier.
the amount of love back.
If someone sends you a shitty comment and you go back and you comment like, well, God, like, I love all your pictures or whatever it is you're putting on Instagram, like, then they just feel stupid. They feel bad, and they don't want to like give you hate no more because like you're giving them so much love. And that's the only thing the world could use more of, honestly, is people just building a huge community, supporting everybody, loving everyone, and showing them, hey, I'm fucking here in your corner if you need me.
And I guess, guys, that's really how our own journey has really came full circle for us, is from not being able to lead ourselves to going through this self-pity to finally, realizing like, hey, you know what, I wasn't born like this. I know what it takes to get up hard, like get up every morning early. I know what it takes to work hard. I know what it takes to get down and dirty and have the grit to push through no matter what.
Just to better your own life.
It's, it really compounded into us like taking control of our life and forming our own community at our own, college gym, to going out and changing other people's lives and feeling that love and gratitude back from being able to have the chance and opportunity to do that.
Exactly.
So I guess the biggest reason, you guys, that we are entering the first Phorm Athlete Search is to impact more lives, not only the people around us in our community, but the people who are further away from us that could really use this kind of help.
There's always someone, honestly, not even just wanting help in their fitness or their health, but like in their mindset, in like their own struggles in their head. People are in their head so often. Like if you can help to get them out of their head, that's a huge, huge thing.
It really is. Everybody has their own demons and stories that they go through, and being able to realize that doesn't define you.
Exactly.
That's not who you are. So guys, thank you very much for listening. we really appreciate being able to share with you what our journey has been, and honestly too, like the reasons why we are so interested in wanting to be part of the first Phorm Athlete Search. If you guys have never checked out First Phorm, whether that be their supplements, their community, they have a clothing line, they got a lot of great stuff, guys. I would highly recommend you guys go check them out if you haven't. All right, guys.
All right, thank you guys.
See ya.